Meanwhile, in the pod cave.
I have the power!
And welcome back to another edition of the Podmen. I'm Brad.
I'm Brian.
I'm Podman Ron. And I'm Alex. I always feel like me coming after PMR is so underwhelming. Like, it's just like, I'm just Alex.
It is.
That's all I have.
PMR, the self-proclaimed master of mystic podcast arts. It's a hard act to follow, but just think of it as he's your opening act, Alex. Think of it that way.
Right, you're right.
We could do the Saturday Night Live. It could be starring Brad, PMR, and Brian, and featuring Alex.
You could be a featured player.
A featured player, not an actual Podman.
Featuring Jacob. Alex.
Jacob. Yeah. Alex.
That was so insulting.
I feel like this right side of this flip collar is like doing its own thing over here.
You know the podcast isn't visual, right?
Yeah, and Podman Ron, maybe you want to tell, in order to get into tonight's episode, what have you done to prepare to really get into it?
I reviewed Yellowstone.
All right. Well, I was going to try to use this as a segue to get into Comic-Con. Let's just go ahead and go to the news. All right. Well, if we were to believe the news, Comic-Con happened this weekend, but I don't know what. I don't know if it did or not.
It even existed after last year. I mean,
yeah. Brian, you closed it out, as I recall, a few years ago. Is that right? Was that the last Comic-Con?
Yeah. That was Comic-Con 50. I was there. Yeah, we closed it out. And, even then, the Hall H stuff was kind of sparse because you had, you still had Paramount and Universal pushing stuff there. But really, Warner Brothers, and I guess Warner Brothers to an extent, but Marvel had pulled most of their stuff out of Comic-Con 50. I believe they showed the TV show stuff at Comic-Con, but all the movie stuff got pushed to D23.
They did kind of both. I think they announced more of the TV shows at D23 that year, I think.
Maybe I'm getting it crisscrossed.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did half and half with D23.
Yeah.
And then last year, DC did Fandom for the first time. And so now, what the hell's going on at San Diego Comic-Con? If you've got D23 for Disney and Marvel and Fandom for Warner Brothers, it's like, what the hell? I mean,
what is there to talk about?
Yeah, well, honestly, I didn't even know what was going on. So, and usually you hear all about it. So, what did they actually have one this year, or what?
There's no news. Like Brian was saying, there's kind of no news to talk about really, because all the big studios that Comic-Con was Comic-Con and comic books and all that stuff. Then it blew up to be more of an huge entertainment event, and now since Warner or DC and Marvel and Disney kind of are doing their own huge events, Comic-Con's not really much anymore, I don't think. It's been given back to the nerds, maybe. This is a good thing.
Yeah, but to the comic book nerds, not to the movie nerds.
Yeah, no.
So the movie stuff's getting pushed aside, yeah.
Fuck those movie nerds.
The only real, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only real panel that had any, you didn't have a CW panel, you didn't have
that's because those shows are just on the way out.
Well, that's
but
nothing to talk about.
Even any of that stuff. Paramount, the only panel that was even like an old school San Diego Comic-Con panel was the Star Trek panel. And so, and with the Star Trek panel, we did get a trailer, and I sent it to you guys, for Star Trek. Oh man, what's the new show called?
Prodigy.
Prodigy. Which did you guys watch the trailer?
Is that a cartoon?
It's animated.
It's animated. We don't call them cartoons, Podman.
Oh, I call them cartoons.
It's CGI. But what? Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yes. It looked like a great promo for a Star Wars show.
I did not.
It looked terrible. I watched the trailer. It
was
really
at
bad.
least interesting because it looks like it's Leica, right? Animation. So it's almost like that stop motion claymation, like Kubo and the
How many strings?
The drums,
the strings. Anyway?
Wooden
the 10
strings?
strings.
Yeah, Kubo and the 3 strings, 2 strings, 5 strings.
2 strings.
Something like that. Yeah, 10 strings. Kubo and the 2 strings, or it's like it's like those from that studio, like Paranorman and all that. So it was a very interesting choice for animation. I don't know if it's going to pay off or not. But, and then
I don't know either, Brian.
They announced season 2 of Lower Decks and stuff. It's like they didn't have any of the new Enterprise show. They didn't have anything for Picard or really anything for Discovery.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I would have led with the new Picard season, new whatever the Christopher Pike show is going to be, Strange New World. I mean, I would have had some of that, but not. I mean, Prodigy and
a bunch of cartoons. That's what it's all.
A bunch of damn cartoons.
If they are they going to have a sexy lion helmsman? If they would do that, I would watch it. I'd watch that from the original series animation.
I think what they're doing is primarily this was a Paramount Plus, Star Trek panel. It was, this is just the Paramount Plus stuff. We're not talking about the movie, the new movie that.
Quote unquote movie.
The new movie that we got news on last week. Very, very strange. Very strange. But, and even like the toy stuff, like you had Super 7 release their toys online, Mattel released their toys online. Hasbro has not done theirs yet. Hasbro is going to do a Hasbro Pulse in the fall to release their San Diego Comic-Con, what would have been their exclusives.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, everybody's got their own conventions now, so it's kind of, I don't know, it takes away from, everything's just spread out so much now. Yeah. It's hard to keep up with it all.
Well, when PulseCon hit last year,
PulseCon, is that what it's called?
Hasbro PulseCon. That's when you got like the trailer and the announcement of the new Transformers show. That's when you got some of they didn't give you a trailer for Snake Eyes, but they started giving you some more stuff about Snake Eyes. So now, you've got even Hasbro's got their own version of a con now too. So
when is there a podcast con? Is there a podcast con that we can?
There are podcast conventions, so we
need to go to one.
Yeah, that would be.
There are indeed podcast conventions. There's a lot of them.
There, yeah. So
we can just sit around and tell our show.
There, other podcasters.
Fellow podcasters.
Fellow podcasters, casters. We are the Podmen, men. Ooh, get out of here. Get off the stage, you bombs.
As if they have enough time to listen to other podcasts.
Right, yeah. No one listens to other people's podcasts.
I feel like...
That is the definition of a circle jerk.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I feel like...
Waffle Punch.
Podcasting.
I love Waffle Punch.
Podcasting these days is just going to out of work actors. If you're out of work, you're
middle-aged men with nothing else to do.
The office ladies, or Kevin from The Office, or all these people that they start their own podcast now because they don't have work to do. So there's my gripe.
Well, listen, San Diego Comic-Con, it's out. Podcasting, it's out. Guess who else is out?
Did you bring the cavalry?
Woman, I am the cavalry.
Well, the cavalry is leaving. The Rock is leaving the Fantastic Four, the Fast and Furious franchise.
I guess that Jungle Cruise is really doing good for him.
Yeah, well, my joke was going to be that the only cruising he's going to be doing is in the jungle now.
Oh.
All right.
Has anybody seen the Jungle Cruise?
It doesn't come out until next week.
Oh, never mind.
And the answer is no. The answer will still be no next week, I think.
Is it on Disney Plus, or will it be on Disney Plus?
It'll probably be of the day and date, like premium access.
Yeah, I think it's on.
To imagine
It's the 30. I think it's on Disney Premiere.
Oh,
You're going to have to pay $30 to not have the embarrassment of sitting by yourself watching a kids movie in the dark theater, but that's a small price to pay if you want to see The Rock.
I still might go, and I bet you I could bet money I didn't Furious. So I might go see Jungle Cruise.
All right, well, good. There's one. Well,
We've got
anxiously
intern
wait for
Alex
review.
doing his best Podman Ron impression.
Yeah, intern Alex is in the car driving. He's not holding the phone. He's doing it very safe. I want everybody to know that he's very safe about it.
You need to be careful.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for letting
This is
him
now
be
a
careful.
safety podcast.
So we got a lot of stuff. We're going to keep moving,
so,
like Alex.
Quickly about the Fast and the Furious. So, like, this is like we remember we had Vin Diesel saying that he was giving The Rock tough love a couple years back, and The Rock basically said, fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah,
So,
tough love.
Of the two, The Rock is a much bigger star. So, it's, Vin Diesel's trying to big time The Rock, and The Rock's like, look, man, I don't have time for this.
But you know what? That's what's so bizarre about that whole story. I mean, why would he even do that? I mean, he's got to know that.
Just trying to help a brother out.
No, he's going to make himself look like a giant ass, which he did. So, I mean, even let's say it was the truth, no one believes it. No one would believe it.
Right.
Especially So why would you even say it? Why don't you just shut the fuck up?
Because he wants The Rock to come back for 2 more movies.
No, just I mean,
no. I think he wants to explain why The Rock's out. I think he wants to stink on The Rock why he's out. But the thing is, like, has anybody ever complained? Have you ever heard anybody other than Vin Diesel and Roman
and me
complain about The Rock?
Me, he posts too much on Instagram.
Yeah, that's true.
Too many inspirational posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
Those are me, Van Diesel, and the guy
Van Diesel.
And
I love me some Van Diesel.
And the guy that plays the Stony guy on Fast and Furious.
Tyrese
Gibson. All right. So we're gonna miss him. And what was it, Brian? Fast X, your seatbelt?
No. Yeah, Fast 10, your
Fast
seatbelts.
10, yes. Fast 10, your seatbelts. Without The Rock, so there you go.
Oh, God.
All right, well, as The Rock is leaving, we got people coming on board. So, Temuria Morrison coming on board as Commander Cody. I know you're excited to hear about that, Podman Ron.
Oh, yeah.
Who is it?
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
Oh, yeah. So that guy, everybody knows him. So he's really cashing in here on Star Wars, I think,
that
right?
Guy really,
he's lucked out.
He has lucked out with the best part ever. Your face
he can
and
play
your voice.
Every clone.
He plays every clone that they make. So he's good. He is. That guy has really made it big just for that.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
And he's doing a hell of a job. So Commander Cody, who's always been one of the favorites of the Clone Wars cartoons, as we call them.
But you know what? I'd like to.
Coming to Obi-Wan.
I think it's kind of cool that now it feels like for the first time, especially with the Mandalorian and the Bad Batch, that we have kind of moved past finally the original trilogy.
Yeah.
With Han, Luke, and Leia. And, I mean, now we're going back to Alex's stuff that he grew up with, the Clone Wars, and everybody's really taken to that and is running with that stuff now. And it's much more interesting than the Luke and Leia stuff.
Well, they realized that Dave Filoni had pretty much just crafted an embarrassment of riches that they really should have capitalized on, because the stuff he made in the 2 shows he produced, both Clone Wars and Rebels, are like some of the, like, my favorite Star Wars content ever. Like, it's what I grew up on, and it's the best new characters like Cad Bane and Ahsoka and Rex.
But I'd like to say, George Lucas, he created this stuff, although his shit was boring as hell in the movies. But I mean, some of the stuff, the way it panned out, and the way the world he created, the universe he created with this stuff, the mythology, really kind of cool the way it all panned out. So I don't know.
So you're saying that George kind of got people going, and then smarter, better, more creative people actually made it smarter, better, and more creative.
Talented actual artists actually took it and made it better.
He created the universe. I mean, he created the whole. I mean,
and in the process,
Trade Federation, the reason the Empire rose to power, the whole Clone Wars thing, everything was just, it was all his idea the way he created it. But yeah, you're right. Other people came and ran with it and played in the sandbox and made better stories out of it. So, but still, it was his world that created it once again. So,
All right. So are you giving props to George Lucas or not giving props? I
am giving props.
Okay, good.
Because everybody's quick to say George or whatever that Fellini, Dave Fellini or whatever his name is, but
great pizza, Fellini's pizza,
Fellini's pizza. But I think everybody forgets that as bad as the Phantom Menace was, that George Lucas was the one that created all that. So,
Brian, what do you have to say?
I find it interesting because we have flipped. Alex is in his car. He's going to pull up at Starbucks in a second.
Yeah, no doubt.
And PMR just did an Alex about face.
I couldn't tell what he did.
He's the, even though he created Star Wars and it's boring as shit.
You got to give him credit.
Thank God.
Credit where credit's due. You're right about that, Podman Ron.
He created the world. I mean,
yes, he did.
World build. Yes.
He's a world
kind of stole the world. I mean,
Did he? What did he steal
from?
Timely. On iTunes right now, Brian, you can buy The Hidden Fortress for $5. You know what? I would buy it for you and send it to you, Podman Ron, if I knew you would watch it. But I don't think you would watch it.
What are you talking
about?
No.
All right. Lucas went to film school, right? They studied Kurosawa. Well, there's a Kurosawa film called The Hidden Castle.
Fortress.
I'm sorry. The Hidden
You're
Fortress.
good.
But it's about there's a samurai in a black suit.
This whole samurai stuff.
Yeah, this whole samurai shit.
Well, it's basically Star Wars.
Two bumbling.
Between Dune and The Hidden Fortress, and a little bit of maybe like John Carter or Mars, that's where Lucas stole, basically took those franchises, put them all together, and said, "Hey, this is Star Wars." To the point, Frank Herbert said when the first Star Wars movie came out, Frank Herbert said, "Yeah, I'm having to resist suing Lucas because there's so much of Dune that he stole." So many.
Give me one thing.
The Jedi Bezeret are Jedis. There's a sand planet.
You'll have to now. You're going to say these things, Brian. Have you ever seen Dune, Podman Ron, the original movie?
No.
All right, maybe let's wait and let's have this debate after Dune comes out later this year, the new movie
on HBO Max.
On HBO Max.
Stay tuned for this debate that will continue in December.
Do they have robots in Dune?
They had two bumbling figures, one tall and one short. Alex,
Hidden Fortress.
But were they robots?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
Alex, have you ever seen Hidden Fortress?
No. I've seen a lot of other Kurosawa, but I haven't seen Hidden Fortress.
All right. Well, I say Podman Ron, we'll get you started on Seven Samurai. I think that
I need to go grab those.
Totally change your life.
They're all $5. So it's Seven Samurai I was going to grab, Hidden Fortress I was going to grab. Anything else, Brad, I should pick up?
I like Throne of Blood. It's based on Hamlet.
It's really good.
Senjuro and Yojimbo, or is that right? Yeah, those are both. Those are movies that Sergio Leone based The Man with No Name, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Those on. There's a cop detective type thing, High and Low, where a kid gets kidnapped. Anyway, and there's a lot of others.
Sergio Leone is on sale too.
Yeah. There's
Spaghetti Westerns on sale too.
There's a lot of other Criterions that are on sale. A couple of Jacques Tati, if you're in the movie for some French comedy, Jacques Tati, I can't recommend highly enough. Playtime. All right. Anyway, so that yes.
About Cody, real quick, because we never got to about with Cody. What's cool is he was always the second to Obi-Wan, right? Just like Rex was always the second to Ahsoka and Anakin. And the question is, we know what happened to Rex. We know what happened to pretty much all of the key clones except Cody. We've never heard what happened to Cody after Order 66. So a lot of people, a lot of fan fiction and stuff, they were like, well, Rex went good, Cody went bad. And so that's the question. Did Cody turn evil after Code 6? And is he going to be an antagonist for the Obi-Wan show, which would be pretty interesting.
It's pretty dope. That'd be so cool.
All right. Well, other stuff that's cool in casting news. You may be a fan of this, Alex. Leslie Grace from In the Heights has been announced as Batgirl. She's our new Batgirl.
She was cast. What was that, like 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Because it was like the day before we had like a short list of who the potential candidates were, and then like a day later it was her.
Yeah, it was her. Podman Ron, are you
fine.
not? Wait, Alex. So you're okay with this, right, Alex?
Oh yeah, I think
don't care.
if this is in the Pattinson universe, I think it'll be pretty cool, especially with who's playing Jim Gordon? Oh God,
Wright. What's his face?
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright. I think if it's set in that universe, it's going to be really cool. But other than, I honestly, it's still just it's fine casting.
Fine.
So isn't it going to be weird that everybody? I mean, is it going to be strange that everybody in this new Batman movie is going to be African American and Batman's the only white person there,
except for Batman?
And Alfred's
well,
also.
it would be weird
sure?
for Jim
They
Gordon.
may CGI him. You know, Andy Serkis isn't good at that.
Wait, hold up. PMR. Batman's white. Riddler's white. Penguin's white. Alfred's white.
All the bad guys.
I mean, is that okay?
So far, we've got Jeffrey Wright, who we've known for like 2 years, who's going to be Commissioner Gordon, who is black. And PMR is surprised that they cast a black young woman as the Batgirl.
No, trust me, I am not surprised.
Well, I'm surprised.
But I will say, she was fantastic in The Heights.
Yeah, he is a flip flopping.
We have switched positions today.
I don't know.
We have switched.
Why cannot Hollywood hire? And this needs to be a thing. Ginger-haired actors for ginger roles. I mean, like what was it? Fucking Mary Jane.
Yeah,
Mary Jane, in pretty much every movie. I think Kristen Dunst was always blonde until she was Mary Jane. Then they dyed her red.
And the Stone keeps having to dye her hair.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She can't get any work as a redhead.
And Bryce Dallas Howard they had to go blonde with her,
right?
Yeah.
Even though she was redhead.
Something up with that.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
something with the redheads.
What do you have against gingers, Hollywood?
Yeah, I don't like that at all. But other than that, I guess it's okay. Who cares, right?
No, she was really good in The Heights. So I mean, she's very good. So it was a good movie. She was good. So
there you go.
Sure, be fine.
There you go.
Part of this, and I'm kind of inferring some stuff, but they also announced, HBO said that next year they're going to have 10. They're going to do
wacky
10 straight release movies, right? So, yes, they're going back into theaters, but they're also going to have 10 different movies. And what I'm gathering is Batgirl is not going to be a theatrical film. It's going to be one of the HBO Max films.
Yeah.
Right?
It's straight to HBO Max and only HBO Max.
But you know what? I mean, honestly, guys, do y'all give a shit about Batgirl? I mean, no. I mean, really. I mean, truly, what major stories besides the Killing Joke where she was crippled? What is she? What major stories for Batgirl is there out there? I mean, all we know is that she boned Dick Grayson, and she
in the Killing
rode
Joke cartoon,
she rode a
she boned
motorcycle
Batman.
and the Adam West stuff. So,
But so here's the thing, though. Isn't that kind of an okay thing? Because it's a little bit of a blank slate to an extent. Like, you don't have to hit all these, stick all these landings, right? So, and honestly, if Batgirl's successful and they put Nightwing in the movie,
I don't think I don't know. I mean, they'd really have. I see what you're saying, Brian. I mean, you're right. They don't have to, try to copy this whatever successful comic book that she did. But I don't know. I mean,
no one cares.
all we're doing is copying a Batman character. I mean, I wish they would
I'm
do
with
something
Brad
else.
here. No one cares.
No one cares. Well,
no one cares.
Well, no one cares.
I care.
Well, Brian is the only one who
That's
cares
cute.
about that. Let's talk about some other things that you should care about.
What is that?
Did someone kick the bucket that I'm never going to have heard of?
But you say he just
You
a
just
friend.
a friend.
And you say he just a friend.
Just a
Oh,
friend.
baby, you.
All right. Well, at least when we were talking about this a few weeks ago, Biz Markie died. Everybody's over it by now, but a little bit of love for Biz Markie, who I think I had to remember this. Was in Podman Ron's, one of Podman Ron's favorite movie franchises. Let's take a listen to one of his speaking roles here.
What are you talking about? I have no idea what that is.
All right. Well, that was a little bit of Biz Markie working with Will Smith in Men in Black 2 or 3 or 4, I think. Did you know he played a mail carrier in Men in Black? Podman.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So there you go.
He will be sorely missed.
He will be sorely missed.
I was really hoping for that mail carrier spinoff on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I mean, bless his heart. Well, before we, literally minutes before we went on air here, a famous TikToker died out of China. She fell to her death. So I don't know her name. I'm trying to look for it, but I can't find it. So
I don't have any audio
Thanks for
clips of
mentioning
that.
it.
Well, yeah, I thought.
Thanks for mentioning it with no details. Other than
Wow.
other than,
Well, let me tell you something. It's a tough room, almost a tough enough room for Jackie Mason to take.
Very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a thrill to see me in person.
What?
You're not sure? I came here as a personal favor because I know how important it is to you to see me tonight. Because I'm one of the few people who are dedicated to humanitarian purposes. I'm one of the few people on this site
All
who
right,
have not been
Jackie
showcased
Mason,
for
the
money.
legendary comedian, and was he the voice of the Aardvark on the Pink Panther back in the day? Does anybody know that for a fact, or did did the Aardvark sound like Jackie Mason?
maybe you just sounded like it.
I got to get that in. All right. Well,
Did he
anyway,
die?
yes,
Yeah.
Jackie Mason.
93 years young.
When did Jackie Mason die?
A couple of days ago.
I did not know that.
Wow. So this is.
Well, if you read your text,
I only texted it to you.
you just look at your fucking
Should I
phone.
have called and broke it to you gently?
Yes, you should
Exactly.
have.
First Biz Markie, and now this.
Wasn't Jackie Mason in the Goodbye Girl?
I think he probably
even
could
know.
have been.
No, this is not me asking for like an explanation of who this person is or a history. Who is Jack? Like who?
He's a stand-up comedian.
Everybody under
okay.
50 right now just turned off the podcast.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
He's.
man.
You heard a little bit
Mason.
of him. You heard a little
you're
bit of him at the top of the show. There.
I heard him.
He was a comedian from like the 60s, 70s, 80s. He's kind of like Rodney Dangerfield to an extent.
So he was already dead to me before he died.
He kind of did the Ovaltine joke.
He did the Ovaltine joke. Yeah, he could do the Ovaltine joke. Why do they call it Ovaltine? It's round. The lid is round, and yet they call it Ovaltine. I just don't get it. Yeah, so he was Seinfeld
classic
before
Jackie
Seinfeld.
Mason.
Yeah, that's my Jackie
classic
Mason.
Jackie
Aye.
All right, well, with all of
Comedy.
gee, this is going to be a tough one, Brian. Let's just let's get through the movies here.
You better get us in the room.
All right, and then the movies, the big ones. We've got a couple to talk about here, but let's go ahead and kick it off with Snake Eyes. Brian, you're the G.I. Joe commander here.
Aficionado.
The aficionado of G.I. Joe. You've been looking forward to Snake Eyes Origins for years now.
Who hasn't?
This is going to be a tough one to get through.
It's going to be hard.
All right, that's what she said. So, Brian, take us home to Snake Eyes. Let's listen to a little clip here first.
For 600 years, our ninja have brought peace to the out loud.
But things have changed.
I need warriors like you.
I think I fell asleep during the clip.
So this is this is the origin of Snake Eyes, the origin of Storm Shadow, who is Snake Eyes. Let me guess. At first, they're friends, almost brothers, and then they become bitter enemies toward the end.
Do you ever think about in real life anybody that ever talks to you like that? I mean,
What?
I don't know. I mean, you just
No, because it's a fucking movie.
I know, but I mean, anybody just talks like that in real life.
Maybe we should have an episode where we just talk like that.
Can we have an episode where we just mute PMR?
Honestly, it'd be a much more effective.
You can't mute the master of mystic arts, okay?
Or can we pull his audio out?
Yes, I can do. I can separate his mic and just pull it out.
You can hear us talking and having cognizant conversations, and then have an audio track separate where we're just
That's not good.
If you want to hear the PMR audio, you have to subscribe to our Patreon account, and then you can $5 a month. You can get PMR's audio. Brian,
PMR all the time.
take us to Snake Eyes. Give us the synopsis here.
All right, so Snake Eyes, it is very different than the comic book. In the comic book origin, because I feel like there's a lot of controversy about the movie. The comic book origin essentially is Snake Eyes is in the G.I. Joe team. Please stop.
Which one of them is whistling?
PMR.
No.
I don't even know how to whistle.
So, all right. So,
Brian knows me too well, I swear to God.
G.I. Joe, his first mission, he's with Stalker and with Tommy Arashikage, who ends up being Storm Shadow. And it's set like in Vietnam. You know, they're in a jungle. There's a plane crash. He gets burned. His vocal cords get destroyed, and basically he gets taken in with Storm Shadow, and Storm Shadow brings him back, and that is in the movie. Storm Shadow introduces him to his clan, and Snake Eyes trains, right? So the film, the backdrop is the Yakuza, right? Yeah. And the Arashikage are the clan is still there, but basically Storm Shadow is about to get killed by the clan, by the Yakuza, because he's God damn it! Like, PMR, stop! Move off camera! What the fuck are you doing? It's impossible to, like, oh my God! All right.
It's like he's trying to disrupt you, Brian. Don't let him win.
Yeah, it is.
I'm tying my finger.
Essentially,
he's tying his robe up, Brian. I mean, give him a shot.
Storm Shadow's trying to infiltrate the Yakuza. Snake Eyes is working for the Yakuza because they said they know the person that killed his father, and they can give him the person that killed his father. And midway through the movie, you realize, and he saves Storm Shadow, and then midway through the movie, you realize he's still working for the Yakuza. Uh-huh. Snake Eyes is.
Oh, you ruined it! What the hell? Spoilers!
Oh yeah, spoilers. Sorry about that.
Spoilers.
All right, so tell us a little bit about how this ties in with G.I. Joe, other than Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and Scarlet's in it, right?
Yeah. So essentially, the Arashikage clan they've got like a MacGuffin, right? They've got like this. It's called the Sunstone. It's got supposedly the power of the sun, and Cobra wants it. So they're working with the Yakuza to get somebody to infiltrate and steal it from the Arashikage clan. So now they've hinted at Cobra. They've referenced Cobra a couple of times because it turns out the person that killed his dad was a Cobra agent.
Cobra Commander, maybe?
No.
Just random Russian man.
Just random Russian. Cobra Agent Rando.
And then you kind of find out that's what causes the split between him and Storm Shadow.
That damn Rando.
That's what causes the split is because Snake Eyes was trying to infiltrate. Snake Eyes realizes what he's done and tries to take it all back.
All right.
But it's too late. Here's the thing though, like the comic origin I was trying to get to a minute ago before PMR started pulling stuff. Is Storm Shadow brings Snake Eyes back to the clan. Snake Eyes trains with the clan to become a ninja. Hard Master who's in the movie too, is the head of the clan, and somebody assassinates. What causes the rift in the comics is somebody assassinates Hardmaster. Snake Eyes, or Storm Shadow thinks it's Snake Eyes, right?
Okay.
Well, you find out 30 issues later it was actually Zartan. So it's a very famous storyline in G.I. Joe, and the fact that they diverged from it so heavily pissed people off majorly.
When was this? Are you talking about the Marvel stuff from the 80s, or are you talking about the new stuff they did in IDW or whatever?
It's the same. So they varied it a little bit, but you always had the same beats. You always had Snake Eyes. You had either Snake Eyes' vocal cords were destroyed, or Snake Eyes took a vow of silence because of Hardmaster's death. But either way, he was silent, right? You had he's disfigured his face, and he trained with Tommy at the Arashikage compound. They were both under Hardmaster. Hardmaster's assassinated. So, all those beats are in all of it, whether it's the IDW, whether it's the Devil's Due Press, whether it's the Marvel stuff. It doesn't matter. That's always been the same. And so the fact that they pulled all of that out and said, okay, no, the split is because Snake Eyes was trying to figure out who killed his father, and Snake Eyes deceived Tommy. That's what led to all this. Honestly, Snake Eyes is a bad guy for 3/4 of the movie.
Wow.
And Storm Shadow's the good guy. He's the one that brings him in. He's the one that says we're blood brothers. He trusts him. He tries to protect him. And then when he finds out that Snake Eyes has betrayed him, that's what causes the rift, which is interesting, right? That it's a different take on why. Does it matter? They were blood brothers. Now they hate each other. Or now Storm Shadow hates him. And Snake Eyes is trying to win him back. Does it matter that Hardmaster didn't get killed? Probably not. Not in the greater scheme of things. And all they have to do, because people are still pissed that, he didn't wear the mask until the end of the movie.
Oh,
right?
okay. I was going to ask
the whole movie. The whole movie he didn't have the mask on.
He didn't put on the mask until the very end. They hint at the armor a couple of times.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
And he puts it on. But remember, this is an origin film.
Yeah,
so
I know. But
they could easily say, okay, now he in the next movie or at the beginning of the G.I. Joe film, if it gets made, that's where he gets disfigured trying to bring Tommy back into the fold or whatever, right? So they could still stick the landing if they wanted to. The problem is Henry Golding. You got Henry Golding. He's a pretty hot actor, I guess, in the past few years. Do you want to just have him stuck in a mask the rest of the time with not able to speak?
He'll be Tony Stark. He's got to show his face.
Henry Golding, just quit doing that. That's the character. He's in a mask. If you don't want to have your face hidden, don't try out for the part.
Part of what you're not getting it. Part of what got the movie made is that they got Henry Golding. That's part of the problem. The movie made is because they had a hot actor attached. So if they said, this is going to be G.I. Joe with some XYZ actor playing it that we're going to put in the mask the whole time, then it's not going to get made anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what these fanboys need to realize. Be thankful for what you've got, and that it's it's trying to head into an expanded G.I. Joe universe. My take is, it was fun. It wasn't the greatest movie, but it was fine for a starting point. The more they really should just say, look, we're going to make a live-action G.I. Joe series on Paramount Plus. That's what this should really be.
Honestly, I think any of these franchises they should just do that with, because you can tell more of the stories. You can get really into the origin more than you can with these 2-hour movies.
Well, and not only that, you can spin it out, right? Because there's so many. There's such a myriad of. You could have a ninja centric show that focuses around the Arashikage and the Red and the Red Ninja Clan and all that stuff. You could have the core Joe team. Then you could have the Chuckles Last Laugh comic, or which really was focused on Cobra, right? And he was infiltrating Cobra. So you could have multiple series, and then all spinning out of almost having like the Justice League being the core G.I. Joe show, and then these spinoff shows, or the Avengers, and these spinoff shows out of it. I wish they had sold this to Amazon a year ago when they sold Coming to America and some of those other films. Right? There was talks of them selling G.I. Joe or selling this movie to them. I think if this had come out a year ago, I think if it had come out to streaming, we wouldn't be getting this level of backlash against it because people are pissed. Because the thing is, people that don't know the property are just saying, well, it didn't tell me much about the property, but it's a ninja movie. People that do know the property are like, it's not what I grew up with. You ruined my childhood.
A lot of people complaining about that nowadays.
Yeah, somebody posted earlier today about the He-Man show. It's like nothing better than watching a grown-ass man cry about a TV show based on a toy.
A lot of upset fanboys out there. Well, so how does obviously it ends on some sort of a note to where to be continued, right?
Yeah. So basically, what Snake Eyes does causes Tommy to be kicked out of the clan. And so he blames Snake Eyes. He can no longer be the master of the clan. And the last, the post-credit scene is he's on a jet with Baroness. And she's like, they're basically bringing him to the fold of Cobra. And then right before that, you see Snake Eyes put on the helmet and all, and he says, I'm going after Tommy. So the other big sort of twist, which I thought this was interesting too. I don't need to get Alex's take on all this. The other twist.
Yeah, I saw this movie too.
Yeah. Snake Eyes' dad, the reason he was killed is because he was a member of G.I. Joe. And so they name check Joe Colton. You see Scarlet, and you find out that Snake Eyes' dad was a Joe. It'd be cool to find out if it's a Joe we've heard of before.
Yeah.
So,
Alex. Like a Shipwreck?
They can't kill Shipwreck.
Is that his dad?
No. No, it better not be Shipwreck. I love Shipwreck. I don't want
Sergeant Slaughter?
It shouldn't be Slaughter either.
Alex, what did you think?
That would have been great if they had Sergeant Slaughter in this film. I'll just put that out there.
Alex, you're not quite the big G.I. Joe fan, but you love a ninja. So what did you think of this?
Excuse me, I'm saying bye to my hamster real quick. Bye, hamster. Okay, anyway. I like this movie. I didn't look at the RT score or anything, and I wasn't that excited for this. I thought it looked like a bland, dumb action movie.
Yeah.
But I was considerably pleased when I walked out, and I was like, why did I just really enjoy that? Wow. I really like the twist of making Snake Eyes this kind of jackass for pretty much the entire movie. I think that's a really, really bold decision to make. And I think they kind of pulled it off well. There's some dumb shit, too. There's a lot of fantasy elements that I wasn't sold on. Like, there's, 6 giant anaconda snakes, and I'm just like, okay. Sure. But it's honestly, Fast and Furious, I didn't consider. People always say that's like a popcorn flick, and because I really love movies and I want to watch a good one most of the time, I usually don't like those movies too much because they're just not entertaining to me. I don't see the appeal or any of that. But and Black Widow, I treat as a Marvel movie, and I hold that to a higher regard. Now this, I would say, is better than both of those. I had more fun watching Snake Eyes than I did either Black Widow or Fast and Furious. Snake Eyes has some pretty shitty, shaky cam action in the first 20 minutes. But after that point, the action's really solid. The car chase, whole fight scene's really good. And even the character development, just watching this character grow to accept that vengeance isn't the answer and that you always don't get what you're seeking.
Sounds like he learned something.
He does. And it's like, you know what? There's some dumb shit. And I some of it I can't get past. But, I'm willing to forgive it because I had a lot of fun. Like, I didn't hate this movie, and I'd like to see this universe continue, although it made only $14.5 million at the box office this week.
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to see it continue.
Probably won't, but it's an exciting start and it's an exciting future. It's a different interpretation of these characters, sure, but as like a ninja action flick, yeah, go see it. Like, why not? I had a good time. I turned off my brain, just went with it, and I really liked it. I forgot it was a Snake Eyes movie until like 5 minutes before the end.
When he put his mask on. So, but people are upset. Again, imagine going to see the first Iron Man movie and he doesn't put an Iron Man costume on until the very last 5 seconds and he says, I'm Iron Man.
And that's fair, but I think it comes to a level of, it has this level of, you are a fan first and that makes sense, but also sit back, relax, and just watch just a fun movie for just 2 seconds. And I can understand where fans are mad, and we'll talk about Masters of the Universe, because there I can see a definite reason why fans should be mad. But for something like this that isn't telling a truly offensive story, it isn't trying to fucking blow people's like mind. Here's just
you're
breaking up there. Podman Ron, you were going to say something.
No, my whole thing is, and I've said this often because I really wish I could have gotten to the comic books back in the 80s, and I always thought G.I. Joe was kind of a cool idea, and and it grew, for a long time. It started in the early 80s and it continues today, but like Ryan was saying, they really should do this as a TV show. I mean, there is too much to G.I. Joe that you cannot tell in these 2-hour movies. I mean, this is a 2-hour movie about Snake Eyes. We've already had the 2 G.I. Joe movies, which one was terrible and the other one was just...
It was horrible.
One
was terrible, the other's horrible.
No, one was terrible, the other one was, passable, but, it really needs to be told in a TV show. And I think it would be kind of a cool TV show, where it's not superheroes, but it's, it's kind of an army, but it's more of a super army type thing. And I think it would lend itself really good if someone like Amazon or Netflix would pick this up and run with it.
Or Paramount Plus.
Or Paramount.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody doesn't do this. I mean, there's just so much that they could do with this show. And it would be huge to do a live-action show with this. But you would have to do it live-action with all the campiness. Not campiness, but like,
Well, then the movies have that a little bit of campiness, but no one liked them, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, it was, I don't know. They didn't go full camp, and when they did, it was way too much. I mean, there's a fine line.
They went full for camp.
Full camp. But basically what I'm saying is it's just, you can tell the story better in the TV show than you can in just a 2-hour movie. And I wish they would do that.
That's the point, is you could have multiple TV shows. You could have...
Yeah, you could. You could have
G.I. Joe, you could have the Special Missions Force, you could have Ninja Force, and you could have a Cobra-centric show. And
I don't understand why they don't do that.
These TV execs, they don't know what the hell they're doing.
I mean, even when they did the first movie and the second movie, it's like, why are y'all doing movies? You're talking about 20 years of continuity that you're trying to cram into a shitty movie, and it's
the
not.
Comics 280 plus issues now.
Well, not only that, but you've got all these characters too. It's just not the comic book. It's like G.I. Joe. I don't even know how many members they are, but you have all these different characters that you cannot showcase in a 2-hour movie. I mean,
well, they're not trying to in this.
I know, but I'm just talking about in general. I mean, but if they had a movie to do, a TV show, you could concentrate on certain characters and, do backstories, and there's so much they could do with it if they really did it.
So Brian, where are they going to take this next? What will be? Is there going to be a Snake Eyes 2, or do they go to Scarlet Story or Duke or Sergeant Slaughter? What did they do here?
Well, I mean, wasn't Scarlet getting an Amazon Prime show?
I hope not.
I don't think so. But I've got a pitch, I think we'll fix where we're at with the film, and with stuff that's kind of left hanging since it's an origin film, but also like the would win over all the fanboys. So if you started, because the cliffhanger is he's trying to go after Storm Shadow, right? Storm Shadow is now aligned with Cobra, and that's where everything is left off. You could easily go in and say, okay, the first do a cold open to the next movie, and spend 15 minutes establishing the cold open before the title sequence runs, and do the silent interlude. So the silent interlude is the most famous G.I. Joe comic that was ever written. It was done out of necessity because the artist was running behind. And so Larry Hama said, look, he put together that issue over a weekend. But the silent interlude, they didn't have time to letter it. They didn't have time to, God damn it. Like, Alex, will you mute us, please? All I can hear is wind. But the silent interlude, it starts with Snake Eyes paragliding into the Cobra Temple, and he's infiltrating the Cobra Temple, and you find out he's there to rescue Scarlet.
Yeah, that was a good issue. I bought that off the rack, actually, when it came out. He gets Scarlet out. They escape. It's the first appearance of Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow chases him out. They get into a sword fight. Snake Eyes costume gets cut, and the wrappings come off of Storm Shadow's arm, and you realize they have the same Arashikage tattoo, right? But there was no words in the whole issue. So you've established in this movie Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Scarlet. You could start out the next movie and do that cold open and make it the silent interlude.
That'd be pretty interesting.
And then go, boom, G.I. Joe, right? And people would go,
the fanboys would lose their mind. Yeah.
They'd fucking lose their mind. So I think that's a way to fix it. If we get anything else from this property.
How much did it make this weekend? I'm sorry.
$14.5 million, which
That's
old from M. Night Shyamalan made 16 and a half, I think.
And you're fucked if M. Night Shyamalan on his seventh Resurrection Quest beat you at the box office.
Wow! And Black Widow made $60 million, and they made $14 million.
Oh, don't even talk about Black Widow. Black Widow in its second weekend had a 70% drop for its second week. All these movies are all just tanking.
People heard our podcast. People heard the review of it on the podcast.
Snake Eyes in the last couple of weeks is the only movie that has been an action movie that I've actually really liked, and that's just and it's weird because I really wasn't I wasn't interested in this at all, but I am kind of hurt that a film like this is hit because I would like to see a second one of this.
This one kind of sucks.
Yeah.
If Black Widow sucks, it's not going to kill the Marvel Universe.
Right.
If this sucked and tanked, it's probably dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does suck. And when I thought about this today, and there's two films that really reminds me of that I really like, and I saw so much future, but both of them got cut short. Solo. This reminds me a lot of Solo, and that I don't think fans or critics are going to like this until 2 years later, and people are going to be like, "Oh, it's just Snake Eyes. It actually wasn't that bad." And then it also reminded me of Power Rangers, and this similar aspect of both of those movies are movies I enjoyed and franchises I would have loved to see continue, and both got desperately cut short. And it's in the same level. I would give if I was an RT reviewer, I'd give it the same score as I would give those movies. And it's just this just sucks. I'm really sad. I really enjoyed this movie. So yeah, that's Mellow Spiel.
All right, so give us some scores here.
Well, one more second. To PMR's question a minute ago, in the original G.I. Joe line, they released 163 different characters.
Holy
Not
shit.
the comics, actual figures.
Damn.
So, think about that. That's a huge universe to build upon.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. I mean, they've got so many characters, and I know Larry Hama did a backstory on probably
because people really only care or know one of them at all. It's one of those things.
But I mean,
G.I. Joe never hit the pop culture zeitgeist as even Captain America and Iron Man and all of them did.
Well, no,
universe.
G.I. Joe was Marvel's best-selling comic in the 80s.
Yeah, it was pretty hot
in the 80s.
Well, but it's still
Huey Lewis was hot in the 80s.
It hit. It was the number one selling. It outsold Spider-Man, Avengers, Captain America. It outsold all of it. So
I just don't think it's been treated right over the past.
Because the thing is, G.I. Joe didn't have a continuous animated series as well. I think to keep it pushing forward. I know it had its 80s one, but I don't think it had a 90s cartoon.
Yeah,
maybe it had one early 2000s cartoon.
Yeah, it had Sigma 6 in the early 2000s. Basically, what happened was they switched. You had Sunbow that did the first series up to the movie, and then they got cheap and moved it to Deke. So they went from Sunbow, who did the Transformers cartoon and the G.I. Joe cartoon, to the people that did the Inspector Gadget cartoon. Right?
Okay.
And so the animation started to dip. The storylines got goofier and goofier. The comics, they kept trying to re-evolve the characters. So they went with eco warriors, and then people kept giving Hama, look, we want to do this, we want to evolve the story to that. There was a long time where G.I. Joe, where it said Snake Eyes. The book was still numbered G.I. Joe, but it said Snake Eyes, and G.I. Joe was really little in the corner, right? Because he was Wolverine. It was all Ninja Force, right? And so the toys started to peter out, the comic line started to peter out. Hasbro flipped back to the 12-inch Joes from the 3 3/4 for the nostalgia piece of it, because I think it was at that point it was at its.
It was 30th anniversary or something. The
30th anniversary or 35th anniversary of the original, G.I. Joe, Kung Fu Grip Action, G.I. Joe. And then in the early 2000s, they tried to kind of do a half. They did Sigma 6, which were 8-inch figures. So they had a ton of weapons. They were bigger than the 80s line, not as big as and they were also kind of like Bionicle to an extent, the Bionicle, you could change stuff out on them.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know at all.
We got a cartoon right after the first movie hit, which is actually pretty good. Cobra's taking over, and G.I. Joe's kind of like the A-Team. They're the last of that breed, and they're trying to shed light on the fact that Cobra's evil. But every few episodes they'll bring in another character who's not a Joe in the cartoon, but will later one day be a Joe, like Law and Order and Shipwreck and stuff like that. So, but they also said we're getting a cartoon. We are getting 2 seasons of a cartoon from Hasbro. But we need this should have been a live action show.
Weird.
So, yeah.
Weird.
All right. So did we get scores from you, Alex and Brian?
No, I don't. I'll go. Man, I wish I could go halvesies, but you know what? Fuck it. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 and a binary 1.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. Stupid. I like it.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd give it 4 out of 5 and a 1. It's different. That's not necessarily a bad thing. There was lots of twists in this that are outside of the comic. If anybody's worried about the fact that he's not scarred and he can still talk at the end of the movie, all you got to do is blow him up at the beginning of the next film, or midway through the next film, and you're fine.
He's not scarred, or he can talk at the end. Oh,
he's not scarred or can't talk.
Again, Batman doesn't kill. Okay, sure, whatever. Fanboys complain because fanboys going to complain.
We're fixing to get into a lot of it here.
All right, well, we need to get into it. Did anybody see Old? We mentioned M. Night Shyamalan. Did anybody see Old? We want to talk about that.
No. I'll probably see it here in the next little bit. But
all right, great. No one saw it. All right, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Does anybody care about that?
No. Basketball camp is next weekend. You got amazing potential on the court, and I can help you get there.
All All right. Well, LeBron
That's
James
not
helps
what I
his son, gets a potential. His son doesn't like basketball, but yet he loves video games. They get sucked into Emmy Award-winning Don Cheadle's Warner Brothers server, and Don Cheadle is fantastic in it. I hope he gets a supporting actor nod for it. And wackiness ensues and all kinds of cameos in the background as the basketball game is being played. Everybody wins in the end. How about that? Except for Don Cheadle.
Yeah, the most interesting part of this movie, the only reason you might want to watch this movie is all the cameos and references. So it's like a Warner Brothers version of Ready Player One. It's, you see Rick and Morty show up in the movie. You see,
Batman, Robin. The Warriors.
Batman, Robin.
The Warriors are in the background.
The Warriors are in the background. Tiny Toons are in there. Animaniacs are in there.
I think I saw the Clockwork Orange people.
Clockwork Orange was in there, yeah. So it's
like the pedophiles, like the rapists.
Yes.
Yeah. So, any Warner Brothers properties in there. I think I popped the most when Rick and Morty showed up. Like, I was like, this is crazy.
I saw that clip on Twitter, and it looked pretty funny.
For the younger fans, Big Chungus is in it.
Big Chungus. My kids love to see Big Chungus in it, yeah.
So, I mean, my kids really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For me, the only thing is just the Warner Brothers references. Oh, I really enjoyed the best. Well, I like the Rick and Morty a lot. I also liked when they went through the DC planet, right, and you got to basically see all the Batman and Superman animated series like art. Yeah, right. Like that was the way it was styled and everything. So it was.
It was a good kids movie. I mean, PG.
It was a good kids movie. Yeah,
it's a kids movie.
It wasn't. It's not made for us. My kids enjoyed it. The weird thing to me is the fact that they didn't reference the first Space Jam at all. In fact, this is a completely different setup and universe. As far as anybody's concerned, Michael Jordan never participated in the Space Jam thing.
Right.
20 years ago. So,
they did have a reference. They said, we got Michael Jordan at one point during they're losing, and they said, hey, I forgot who brought him in, but Sylvester, I think, or somebody brought in and said, Michael Jordan, I found him in the audience. He's going to help us win and everything. And it's big, dramatic, silhouetted up against, and it's Michael B. Jordan is the joke there. So,
Daffy goes, we needed Michael A. Jordan.
Right, yeah. So, again, it is full of puns and stupid stuff like that. But again, it's a kid's movie. So for us to review it as adults,
yeah, you can't. Yeah, like it's not made for UPMR. Like it's made for a kid. Like Alex, if you were 10, or you'd love this movie, right?
Yeah.
So
all kinds of wacky. Yeah. All right. Well, moving over from there to go into the streaming world, got to keep us moving. The streaming world landed on something I think PMR that you selected, Red Dot on Netflix. Red Dot, trying to rekindle their marriage with a child on its way, a young couple on a ski trip suddenly finds themselves stalked by a remorseless killer. Let's listen to a little bit of it here.
Vad som än händer.
Jag tror i alla fall att du och David kommer bli fantastiska föräldrar.
What?
Tänkte att vi kunde bara fly iväg ett litet tag.
Yeah, that's right. Podman Ron, you've selected for me to watch on the streaming wheel a Swedish movie, Red Dot. So I appreciate that. I'm replacing it with another.
So at the end, did they just hug it out and it was the end?
Yeah, it was a fine movie. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever, I guess. It was a little bit of a twist at the end, but basically a couple goes off on a ski trip or a camping trip and are hunted down by a bunch of Swedish rednecks. And then there's a little twist on it.
Is that a thing?
They are kind of Swedish rednecks, yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
The only thing
we cornered the market in redneck.
No, we got plenty of them in Sweden as well. The only thing that I'll spoil with it, that was sort of like, the bad guys that were extracting their revenge on this couple for a particular reason, they kind of won. They pretty much won. And so the whole point of the movie of the people trying to get away from the Swedish rednecks that were chasing them for a particular reason, they got their revenge on the couple. So I was like, okay, that's pretty good. It's not an American movie. I like that. Again, that's why I like these type movies. So thank you, Streaming Will, for that. I appreciate it. Red Dot.
What would you give it? Would you recommend it?
I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Again, you'll watch it once and you'll be like, okay, that's fine. But nothing fantastic about it or anything like that. If I can.
And a binary? Would you recommend a binary?
Yeah, I would, only because of the ending. Of the good guys didn't necessarily win. They deserved to lose, and they did. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. All right. So I've replaced that with keeping on with this theme here, because I like to do this little theme. Blood Red Sky on Netflix. So we go from Red Dot in Sweden to Blood Red Sky, a German movie. When a group of terrorists hijack an overnight transatlantic flight, a mysteriously ill woman must unleash a monstrous secret to protect her young son. So, yeah. So that sounds fantastic. Let's spin the wheel and see who gets to watch what.
I'd take that.
Oh, all right. This is it, boys. All Podmen.
All right. We're watching German film.
Well,
baby.
no, we haven't spun the movie yet. We got to spin the movie.
Fuck. Damn it.
Yeah, that's not
really
the movie.
Excited.
No, so let's see here. I'm going to spin the movie here. A lot of stuff on here. I don't know if this is still on it, but we'll give it a shot. Underwater on HBO Max.
What the fuck is that?
As I remember, it's Kristen Stewart and it's aliens underwater, or something to that effect. Underwater research team get attacked by some sort of monster. So my friends, is your homework for next week.
I gotta look that up. It's on HBO
I'm gonna watch
Max?
the German
Underwater on HBO Max. Did you ever watch Adaptation?
No, still haven't watched Adaptation.
Oh, God damn it. Okay.
I did watch a TV show on HBO Max, though.
Oh, okay, good. There you go. All right, now let's go over to TV Land. All right, over to TV Land, and yes, you mentioned it a couple of times here, Brian, but the controversial He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, or is it just Masters of the Universe?
It's just Masters of the Universe.
Revelation, yeah. So what is the problem here? I think I may know what the problem is.
My lord, my lady, I regret to inform your highnesses that during the battle with Skeletor, He-Man succumbed.
Ooh, He-Man succumbed during all over Skeletor, it sounded like. First of all, has anybody watched this other than Brian?
I watched the first episode.
Okay, you watched the first?
I watched all 5.
All right. I fast-forwarded through the first episode just to get that audio clip. Alex, Brian, you watched all 5?
I watched all 5.
All right.
Fanboys. So Brian and me could just both have like an 80s, 80s stages for ourselves.
All right. Everybody is very upset, just like with Snake Eyes, and you mentioned it a couple of times already, Brian. Why is everybody so upset at Kevin Smith about Masters of the Universe just because he killed off the main character?
Well, the problem is everybody is an infant that has these visions of what they want the show to be, but then still want to be surprised. But then if they're surprised too much, they get pissy. And then you've got the whole kind of toxic masculinity stuff boiling over it as well, plus social media. And people are just too fucking impatient to let the story play out. That's really what the issue is with this.
I'd have to agree. Yeah, in terms of why fans are bitching about this, yeah, that's...
It has nothing to do with, is the show good? It has nothing to do with...
but we can have the conversation, is the show good?
Right. So essentially, and Brad, you alluded to it, the story starts... What does that sound?
PMR's typing. Alex is typing.
So the story begins with Skeletor invading Grayskull. And Grayskull, to understand the history, Grayskull, Eternia, the planet that they're on, is like the center of the universe. God damn it.
Sorry.
Either stay in your car or out of the car, Alex. Come on now.
So Eternia is the center of the universe. It's where all magic comes from. It's where all the other planets spiral from. Eternia is cloaked in old magic, like spells, so it can't be found. He-Man's mother was a NASA astronaut who gets stranded on Eternia, so that's his ties back to Earth. Eternia exists in the same universe as Earth does. Now, Grayskull, if Eternia is like the source of magic, Grayskull is like the fountainhead of all of it. Okay. Castle Grayskull. So you start off, and basically the Tila has been promoted to Man-at-Arms, which means she's like the head royal guardsman.
Head bitch.
Yeah, there you go. And so that's happening, and while Skeletor is invading Castle Grayskull. It's a continuation. What's interesting is it's a continuation of the original Masters of the Universe cartoon, but also the early 2000s Masters of the Universe cartoon. It's like they kind of like melded them together into one sort of like. The art is really based on the 2000 Masters of the Universe show. But it's kind of a meld there. But then, basically, Skeletor is able to trick He-Man into unlocking the power of the universe, all the magic. It's going to destroy Eternia, and if Eternia falls, the rest of the galaxy or the rest of the universe will start to fall apart. So He-Man sacrifices himself, pulls all the power into the sword, and it kills him. But also Skeletor. Okay. Him and Skeletor both are taken off the table by the end of the first episode, and the sword is split into two. Okay. So now you've got that was the original toy line. Like Skeletor had a half of the sword, and He-Man had a half of the sword, and you put the swords together, and they would open the door to Castle Grayskull. So now it's like, okay, now they're pulling in the comic book history, right, and the toy line. Which is cool. So like they're melding all of this stuff together into like one sort of cohesive universe. The clip you played, Man-at-Arms tells King Randor that He-Man's dead, and they're like, oh, well, that's bad. And then he's like, oh, but, he goes, but Adam is dead too. Because Randor never knew Adam was He-Man. But his mother, Marlena, did.
She knew?
They look just alike. I don't understand why they can't tell them apart.
Well, in the old series they did, but not in the 2000s.
Yeah, he was a little not teenager, but 20-year-old.
He was kind of a twerp. Yeah. So Randor finds out that his son is dead. He casts Man-at-Arms out. Tila never knew. That He-Man and Prince Adam were the same. So she forsakes her duty to the king and leaves, right? So that's the way the first episode ends. Essentially, what you find out in the second episode is they have to it skips like 5 or 10 years, and magic is dying on Eternia, and they realize they have to reunite the swords to then basically jumpstart magic back on Eternia. So, in all 5 episodes, He-Man appears. But in 3 of the 5 episodes, it's a flashback. Right? So, he's in the first episode, he's in the last episode. But in the middle 3 episodes, it's a flashback that focuses on Tila, Roboto, Orko, Man-at-Arms.
And Andra.
And Andra, who's a very small character that was only in the comics. But you see Evelyn, and you get a perspective for Evelyn. You see Triclops. Triclops and Man-at-Arms are probably the two coolest parts of this half of the season. Like what they did with those characters. You see Merman, you see Stinkor, so what they're doing is they're saying, look, it's the Masters of the Universe. Let's build out and flesh out these other characters and put He-Man in time out.
Wow.
So we can focus on world building this universe, right? Well, everybody's pissed because they're like, it's bait and switch. They're trying to make it's the Tila show, blah, 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 blah. It's like
girl power.
We already got She-Ra. We don't need to. It's all that bullshit. Here's the thing, and this is what I like in it too. You've got two things in play. One, when Death of Superman happened, they did it because Superman was bland, Superman wasn't selling. They did it they killed Superman to elevate other characters. And out of that, we got Doomsday, we got Superboy, we got Steel, we got Eradicator, and we got Cyborg Superman, right? Which are characters they still use and are still pretty heavy hitters today. 28 years later, right? That's what they're doing now. Now, in the series, people die. Like, Bosch Man gets killed. Roboto gets killed. The stakes are bigger, right? They're fleshing out the universe. And we only had 5 episodes. So
everybody's just upset that they thought it was going to be standalone episodes of He-Man and then learning a lesson at the end and winking at the camera?
Like, it's like remembering your childhood through those rose-colored glasses. The old series was pretty fucking stupid a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, most of the time it was those old. What's the Leo Schlesinger, whatever the.
Yeah,
I remember the logo at the end. The little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was the voice of Orko. Like that was why if they let him voice Orko, that's why they kept going. So here's to your point, Brad. It was Skeletor introduces XYZ MacGuffin.
Right.
That'll give him the power to access Grayskull Castle. They go after it. He-Man and Man-at-Arms or whoever find out they're after the MacGuffin, and they go to stop them. And they stop them. And then tomorrow they're going to do the same goddamn thing.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like, do you want characters to advance? Do you want to flesh out a universe? Do you want to make this a little more complex and age it up a little bit? Sure, but you killed He-Man. Do these fuckers actually think Mattel is going to let Kevin Smith kill He-Man and keep him out of play? So the other thing, I said there's kind of two things that this reminds me of. So one is when they did Death of Superman, right? They did it to elevate other characters. The other is when we were sitting in the theater watching Infinity War, and like people started getting dusted, and people were like, oh.
Right.
And then fucking Black Panther got dusted, and there was a guy that stood up, threw his popcorn, and started
shot the screen,
screaming obscenities in the theater.
Wow.
Screaming obscenities in the theater. So, and I'm like, this is the same reaction we have now. It's, if you didn't dust those characters, you don't get to have the on your left moment that everybody gets to stand up and cheer for at the end of Endgame. So the whole point is, you took He-Man off the table, you built up other characters so that you're going to have that triumphant return and people are going to lose their ever-loving mind. To which now, Kevin Smith has said, episode 7, I'm sure he didn't want to have to say this, but fucking fanboys, Kevin Smith, because at the end of the series, it's like Prince Adam is back, and you think he's about to take up the mantle again, and he gets killed again.
Damn.
So
yeah, he sucks.
So, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool the way all it goes down. Now, but Kevin Smith has now said, all right, well, if you guys can fucking calm the hell down until episode 7, which is we're probably going to have before the end of the year. We're on episode 5 now. So we got 6, then we got 7. If you can calm down until episode 7, it's going to be the biggest battle between Skeletor and He-Man ever. He compared it to the Invincible battle between Invincible and Omni-Man. Okay. He's like, it's going to be fucking nuts.
All right.
So, but he's had to basically tell people, all right, because you're being such pissy, whiny bitches, I'm going to have to ruin the spoiler and tell you, guess what, numbnuts? He-Man's coming back at least within the next 2 episodes. Because we're too fucking juvenile,
right,
to just let the story play out.
Or again, we made a joke about the Batman doesn't kill stuff. It's like, again, you give fanboys a movie, or a TV show, and all they're going to do is just bitch about it most of the time.
All they're going to do is bitch.
And so it's just sort of like we don't deserve all this stuff, the nerd stuff out there.
And it's weird. Like I was thinking on Friday, it's like, holy shit, we got a G.I. Joe movie in theaters and a brand new He-Man cartoon on Netflix.
Like, and everybody's still bitching about it.
And then people watch it, and everybody just starts bitching because it's, you ruined my childhood. He-Man was only in.
But people complain. People complain if it's too much of the same, but then if you swing the other way and make it drastically different, then it's like, why are they changing it and ruining my childhood? So again, you can't. Filmmakers and writers, you can't win because you're always going to make someone unhappy.
Yeah,
it's kind of disgusting.
The thing is, we live in an age where everybody can go on.
There you go. There's Brian.
And bitch about it on social media or review bomb it on Rotten Tomatoes
or a podcast.
So, Rotten Tomatoes is they're doing the same thing they did to
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, yeah. So it's got a 94% critics rating, and it's got a 32% audience score because all these assholes are just going review bombing it because you ruined my childhood, Kevin Smith.
Well, here's my opinion.
Go ahead, Alex.
I have no attachment to this source material to begin with, so I'm not coming at it from any sort of bias or anything. I didn't really care about this at all, and I watched it, and I still don't really care. It's not for me. It's fine. The animation's really good. The action scenes are pretty cool. But as a story, it's like, the death of Prince Adam at the very end, I was like, this seems a little cheap, but I'm sure, because I knew there's 5 more episodes left to go, so I'm like, I'm not going to get mad at this, because it's like, whatever. And I don't get the whole people bitching about girl power and stuff. It's like, just let the story go. I mean, it's like, at this point, we're in 2021. If you want to bitch about fictional characters and just a show focusing on a female one rather than your pent up fucking fan fiction about He-Man, then my God, just grow the fuck up for 2 seconds and just watch this fucking story. It's a fine show. For someone who has no attachment to it, I don't love it. And I didn't care to watch it for this. It's like, I didn't waste my time. I had it on the background while I did other stuff, and I was perfectly entertained.
I was barely paying attention to it, and it's just fine that way.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't think this is that big of a deal. At the end of the day, we're talking about like a toy line from 40 years ago. Guys, come on. Just love that you're getting a new show, for God's sakes, because no one gives a shit about this any other way. So, voila. I'm glad that, Brian, you enjoyed it. I am glad, because it seems like you did. So I'm glad that you could see through the bullshit of 90% of other people.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And here's the thing. Like, if you're looking for – these fanboys want a movie, right? They want a new book series. They want this television show. You could not – the source material is so thin. From the TV show perspective, you couldn't. There's not enough meat to make an interesting movie or multiple movies.
Yeah, they should just suck it up that these characters are getting good development. It's not like any character in the show gets a bad sense of development. There's some cheap deaths, but Teela's got a pretty interesting arc throughout the entire thing. The whole Scareglow episode's pretty fucking cool. Yeah.
Like the Scareglow episode, the whole thing was like Orko. Like the fact that you actually cared when Orko dies.
What?
Or you perceive Orko has died, right?
What just happened?
There's lots of development around Orko. There's lots of development around Cringer. Which is like, they were just comic relief. I mean, the Cringer was based on the Cowardly Lion, right? I mean,
yeah.
So, it's if you guys want this to evolve into something, you got to let it evolve. You got to let it breathe. You got to let them age up the characters. And you got to make the stuff more interesting.
Yeah,
Skeletor, MacGuffin, He-Man stops him. Is not going to get anybody. It's not going to make this property any more interesting for anyone else, or ever get you a movie.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll get the last few episodes and people may be happy.
When is the next 5 coming out?
I'm assuming by December. I would.
Yeah, I'm guessing October because the Voltron series. That's what they did. Have any of you guys watched the Voltron?
I tried to make it through it. It seemed good. I just didn't. I lost interest.
Yeah, it's good. But so Voltron, they would kind of like some seasons were 10 episodes. Some seasons were only 5. But they would. So basically, they just said, okay, this is the story arc. It's 5 episodes, so this is the season. It would come out 2 to 3 times a year. And then today, Kevin Smith said that they've already recorded the audio, like the soundtrack for episode 8, which is they're using an orchestra for the fucking soundtrack. You know, I mean, they're trying to make this as good as possible. You know, so they recorded the soundtrack for episode 8. Bear McCreary has completed the music for episode 10, and they can't do any of that until all the animation's done. Like, because they're going to score it while they're playing the show, right? So, it's once they record the audio, foreseeably pair the audio, I mean, it can release in a month. So,
all right. So you think it's worth sticking with Podman Ron, or based on these reviews here? Are you going to watch the other episodes?
No, I'm not. I've never been a He-Man fan, and my attempt to watch the first episode confirmed why I never was.
The Stinkor appearance really messed it up for you. Uh-oh. Podman Ron out. Are you guys still there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Podman Ron tapped out. Oh, there he is.
The reason I watched it this time was something to watch on Netflix. There's nothing else to watch on Netflix, and thought I'd give it a try to see if I liked it. And Kevin Smith did it, and I always try to watch anything Kevin Smith does, but no slight against Kevin Smith. I'm just not into these characters, so it just didn't
resonate with you.
If I will tell you a show, I mean, Voltron would probably be more up your alley.
It's got robots.
It's a giant fucking robot.
Well, I'll give it a shot too. So
I think
Voltron was very, very good. I mean, it was nominated for Emmys and stuff. So
yeah, it was.
Yeah, just like Don Cheadle.
I think the true test of the show, whether you should watch it or not, will be how those last 5 episodes turn out. Because I don't think you can, based on what I've seen, I don't think a true judgment on it can be made just by the 5 episodes that we've gotten. Because it's not a complete show. It's like judging Loki after the first 3 episodes. Like, after episode 3, I thought the show was going to fucking suck, but it really picked up after in the back half. Same with this. I didn't love the first 5, but I'm interested enough to see the last 5, and I think there's enough here that the last 5 could be really good. I mean, we end on a pretty cool cliffhanger and a pretty cool design for a Master of the Universe Skeletor, which is pretty fucking cool. Even though I don't give a fuck. And I was like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
so
you basically you end on Skeletor. So, to set it up, Prince Adam is in Valhalla. Like, he earned his eternity for like the sacrifices he made, and he gives it up to come back and help Tila and everybody save Eternia. And so they are able to reforge the sword into one. And he's about to say, I have the power, and he gets stabbed. And you realize Skeletor, because he came back, Skeletor was there too. He had hidden himself in Evelyn's scepter or something. But when the magic started to regenerate, he came back too. And so he stabs Prince Adam before he could finish saying, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. And takes the sword, and he says it. So the first time ever, Skeletor's gotten to say it. And now he's infused with the power of Grayskull, and he's like Skella God now. So He-Man's. What's funny is they tell He-Man or Prince Adam, they're like, if you go back, you've earned your reward. It's I forget what they call it. It's basically Fraternia. It's basically Valhalla, right? And so they're like, if you return, there's no guarantee you'll make it back here. And he comes back anyway to try and save the world and help his friends. And then he gets killed again, or perceived to be killed.
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
So, all
right, so you know what? You've convinced me. I'm going to watch the last 5 minutes of the episode number 5. I watched the last 5 minutes of the first episode. I'm going to watch that. You know what? You sold me. You got it. You got it, Kevin Smith.
I think this show. I think now I like this show more that they're a bunch of pissy fanboys hate it.
Well, there you go.
Just thinking about it's just that. It's the same thing with The Last Jedi. It really is, Brian. That's a great way to put it. I mean, even the way that the directors and writers are acting, because Rian Johnson will always stand by that movie, and he shits on every fan who tries to come at him for it. Kevin Smith's kind of doing the same shit. And they do have the same thing where it does feel like they kind of piss on the main character. But I think this show, more than The Last Jedi, can actually redeem itself because Kevin Smith really seems like he doesn't want to just make his mark on this universe. He wants to really respect it, too, and really try to, honestly, probably put in his best character-driven stuff to date. And this isn't bad. Like, really, it's not bad.
Are there any dick and fart jokes in it?
Nope. No dick and fart
Orko
jokes.
doesn't say anything like, oh, how about a blowjob?
No.
Or nothing.
But he is annoying until I started to care about him and whatever.
But Brad, on the third episode, he lights up a joint and gets stoned. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's I expect. I can't believe Adam's gone. Here you go, Cringer. Whoa. I'm so fucking high, man. I'm scared of everything. I would watch that. I think I would watch that. All right. So we'll wait and see for the end of the year, see if Masters of the Universe redeems itself. The other TV series that came back, season 2, Ted Lasso. Did anybody watch Ted Lasso? Uh-oh.
I watched Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
All right. Podman Ron?
No. Fuck you.
You know what, Podman Ron? We should have not even shown up for this episode tonight. This should have totally been Brian and Alex, if Alex would stay in the fucking car. But no, I didn't watch it either. I mean, I like it. I intend to, but I'm in no hurry.
Well, you could wait. Like, that was the biggest thing is, like, I forgot. I watched it, and I'm like, all right, let's watch the next one. I'm like, oh, shit, it comes out weekly.
Oh, does it? Okay.
But it's a really good episode. It's
good, but did you get the feeling they were trying too hard with some of the like puns and stuff?
Some of
the first episode,
homespun humor.
I thought that, and then knowing me, I thought the exact thing, and then I went and watched the first 8 episodes again, and it's pretty much the same show. Like I think we just forgot how many puns there were.
Yeah, no, there was one when they're in the office and the girl talk stuff that was a little cringy. And then there was another one, like an analogy he gave that was kind of like, I was like, oh, you're really kind of stretching for this one.
The first episode doesn't really hook. This first episode doesn't have like a cliffhanger hook to like really set you in for what we're doing this season. There's not really a clear goal. It's still the same one as last season, pretty much, of them being relegated and trying to get back in and play.
Right.
It's pretty much just we're back with these characters. Let's see what they're doing. And it's really just set up for the majority of it. And
it's the threat. It's the threat of the therapist.
Yeah,
and what she's doing with the team, and she doesn't. She's not buying any of the Ted Lasso.
Yeah, they introduced a sports therapist, and so it kind of puts, the whole Lasso-ism at like it kind of like increases the tension there because Ted's whole thing is that he's just this inspirational. He's so good at like making connections, and that someone's coming in and kind of taking that role for him.
And she has no time for his,
his
tomfoolery.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's a solid start. We'll see. Well, how many episodes are there? 8 or 10?
No, I think it's 12 again. Or what was first season? Was first season 10 or 12?
First season was 10, but I think this season's only 8 because there's only I think it's only 8 this season.
It lasts until like October.
Yeah. So it's Ted Lasso. If you like Ted Lasso, you should watch Ted Lasso.
All right, I'll give Ted Lasso. Well,
the reviews for the season are great. I mean, everyone's saying it's just as good, if not better, than season 2 because press got all 8 episodes right out the bat. So
Well, there you go.
See what happens.
I will watch the last 5 minutes of the last episode of Masters of the Universe, and I will watch Ted Lasso probably after all whatever episodes drop. I'm in no hurry to watch it. So,
it's a pretty. I wish they would drop 2 a week. I think 2 a week would be better because this for 8 weeks is going to be like, oh my god, that's a little long for Ted Lasso.
All right. Well, from Ted Lasso, I do, Podman Ron, if you're still with us, I think I still see you on the screen here. I want to get through all this nonsense about these movies and TV shows that you haven't watched, and I want to play a little game with you to wake you up. Okay? It's a little game I like to call Bosch or Joe. Are you ready, Podman Ron?
All right, let's do it.
There's a knock at the door. Who could it be? It's Bosch. It's Joe. Open up and see.
All right. There's a cop at the door. Who could it be? Is it Bosch? Is it Joe? Open up and see. Okay, so Podman Ron, I'm going to play 2 audio clips. I want you to tell me if number 1 is Bosch or Joe, or and number 2 is Bosch or Joe, okay? You ready?
Let's do it.
4 women, 2 men, 2 blacks, 2 whites, 1 Asian, 1 Latino. Not a West Side bleeding heart liberal cop lover among them.
Oh, shit. That's tough.
It's a crapshoot. So it goes. Real fun starts on Monday.
All right, so that was clip number 1. Clip number 2.
No, I'm not going to give you a lecture. I don't have the time. I'm just going to lay it out for you straight. Now, you listen to me. You chippy around with marijuana long enough and you're going to buy yourself a lot of grief. After a while, marijuana won't be enough. You'll start looking for a bigger kick, and then a bigger one after that. And all of this is going to go down the tubes. Your job, your house, car, family, everything. We've seen it happen before. And not just to the neurotics and psychotics that wife of yours talks about, but to nice, clean-cut kids from good families with good educations.
There's a knock at the door. Who could it be? It's Bosch. It's Joe. Open up and see.
All right, it's time to find out who was at door number 1. Was that Bosch or Joe?
Fun fact, he was high saying the second clip.
Well, if it wasn't the second one was so, grounded in the 60s, I would have a little bit more trouble.
Tough call, yeah.
Yeah, but that first one was Bosch, just because I knew the second one was Joe Friday.
All right, well.
Marijuana was very, very, stringent, so.
All right, well, you win.
Good segment. Don't they sound alike? I mean,
they do. It was tough when I was going through audio clips of them. It was tough. I was getting myself confused of which one was Bosch or Joe. Well, I did learn something though, since we're now into the Bosch segment of the show.
Oh God!
You didn't. No one told me. People said his name was Harry Bosch. No one said his name is Hieronymus Bosch.
Yeah, Hieronymus Bosch.
Who? Yeah, that's his. That's his name.
Hieronymus.
Yes.
Hieronymus. What the fuck?
So, who is a famous artist. Of whatever, 16th century, something like that. I don't know what century.
So now Bosch trivia hour.
Wait, hold on. What was that, Alex?
Segment is just trivia hour, Bosch edition.
Yes, this is the trivia hour by Podman Ron. That's a famous art of the Garden of Earthly Delights, a fantastic piece of artwork from Hieronymus Bosch. So now I'm curious. I want to watch the show and see if there's some sort of weird tie-in there.
Isn't it like a purgatory?
Yes. Yeah. Weird stuff like people shitting out eggs and babies falling out of the eggs and stuff. I don't know. It's kind of a very weird artwork. So maybe there's something subliminal happening on Bosch that I'm interested in now. So there you go.
You need to start watching it, man.
I guess so.
And next time you pull a clip from Joe Friday, don't make it, so dated.
I'll try not to. I found one. We'll next week we'll play another one. We'll see if you can get next one.
Bosch is actually pro legalization. That's a fun fact for you.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's probably it.
Bosch ain't pro legalization.
All right. Well, from the Garden of Earthly Delights to what you looking at? What you looking at?
Ooh,
Podman Ron, what you looking at nowadays?
You know what? I have I've started and completed all 3 seasons of Yellowstone.
Well, no wonder you got no time for Snake Eyes and Masters of the Universe. If you watch 3 seasons of something.
You know what? Everybody kept saying, watch Yellowstone. And I took them up on it. I watched it, and it's a great show, I got to say. It's a very good show. Kevin Costner just does an excellent job. He's fantastic in the show. There's some of the side characters, some of the supporting actors who, their acting's a little bit off, but for the most part, the show is fantastic. It's like a modern day Dallas, but a little bit less soap opera.
Well, as I was trying to find clips of it and everything, I was wondering if we might need a new segment called "Is it Bosch, Joe, or Yellowstone?"
Ranching is the only business where the goal is to break even, survive another season. I don't regret one sin I've committed. It's the one I'm about to commit that worries me. Everyone's forgotten who runs this valley.
Just tell me who to fight.
Everyone.
I mean, it sounds like Yellowstone, who I don't know if that's the character's name or not, but that's what I'm calling them. It feels like Yellowstone is full of one-liners as well, like, ranching life is hard, just like, you don't do drugs.
That's what he sounds like. I mean, he's just a ranch hand who, not a ranch hand, but he's a ranch owner who owns, like, the biggest ranch in Montana. And, the government, everybody's trying to take his land. The Indians are trying to take it.
Fucking Indians.
Developers are trying to take it to develop property. I mean, to develop houses. And then when he puts a stop on that, then another set of developers try to come in and take it. And now this season, it's, the government's trying to take it to build an airport. And,
Montana Airport?
Well, it's interesting. And it's kind of, and the way they're doing it, kind of shows, eminent domain and how, a government can come in and, tax you right out of your land. If you own a lot, you don't can't pay your property tax. They'll just take the land, or they'll eminent domain it if they determine that, the land could be used for better the economy of the local town or whatever. But anyway, I mean, it's a really good show.
And with eminent domain, they don't pay you like market price.
Right, right.
They just pay you. There's a calculation, but it's nowhere near what market price would be.
Right.
So that
was pretty much what this 3rd season was, because you've got this group, this developer who wants to, build an airport, and that way he can get people to come into the ski resorts in Montana, and it's closer where this Kevin Costner, who's Jim Dutton is his name, where his land is. He owns, I forget, it's like 50,000 acres. It's an unrealistic amount of land that he owns. And he made a promise to his dad that he would never sell it, but now he's in this little position where, they've offered him $500 million to take.
Ooh, hard to turn that
sell
one
the
down.
land, or like his kid said, Dad, if you don't sell it, they're just going to, like Brian said, pay pennies on the dollar for the land and just claim it themselves, and you're done. So that's pretty much how this 3rd season ended, and it's a great show. I mean, and there's other things going on besides that. There's side characters with the ranch hand, stuff like that that have their own little storylines going on. So there are only 10 episodes each season. There's 3 seasons so far on the Peacock Network. If you get the Peacock Network,
all right,
it's a great show. It's a fantastic show. So
and are you watching this? Are you watching this with Gangi as well?
No, I just watched it.
This is not Gangi Vision. Okay, all right.
Me and Gangi are still the Bosch.
There's not enough fellatio for Gangi.
No, Gangy likes her prison rapes. So,
that's right. That's right.
God damn it. Hearing PMR describe this, I just had an epiphany. I would like to see like a modern take in a Breaking Bad sort of vein of the Dukes of Hazzard. And just call it Dukes.
Just Dukes. I thought you were going to go with Beverly Hillbillies.
I don't think that would
like a hard edge Dukes of Hazzard.
I don't think that would work really well.
Justified and Breaking Bad.
Let's
just call it Dukes.
I know what you're saying.
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Hold on a minute. Kind of like when they did the Brady Bunch and they called it the Brady's.
The Brady's,
the
90s. Dukes. Yeah. Everybody was out, and Electra Woman and Dinah Girl. Okay. Everybody's an alcoholic.
Two questions. First off, who would watch it?
Two people so far.
Me and TMR would watch it.
Damn right I'd watch it.
Second off,
Brian, I think we should write this.
Second off, what year are we in?
No better year. No better time.
We do remember that the General Lee is both named the General Lee and as
we can make them racist this time around. We can just go full
two modern day racist Robin Hood.
Exactly.
You know what? Now I'm sold.
They could drive the Frederick Douglass.
Jesus.
Yeah, they could have a big
Frederick Douglass.
That could be
their. All right. Well, hey, Yellowstone sounds fantastic. Montana sounds like a fantastic place to live.
I would give Yellowstone a 5 out of 5. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's very quick. Like I said, 10 episodes a season. So far, the second season was the best, in my opinion. They really haven't announced when the fourth season's coming out. It's already been shot. Everybody thought it was going to be released Father's Day because that's when the other 3 seasons were released. But Father's Day came this year and nothing got released. So now the rumor is sometime in the fall. So I guess COVID kind of delayed shooting and all that good stuff. So catch up on Yellowstone. It's probably some of Kevin Costner's best work.
Wow.
I mean, he's really good.
You mean Robin Hood isn't his best work?
No, hey, don't shit on Kevin Costner, man.
Untouchables.
Untouchables is his best work. So don't shit on that.
But Alex, have you watched The Untouchables?
No,
I have not.
He's got to watch Adaptation yet.
Or Untouchables and Bull Durham.
I've been busy.
No, I'll tell you what. Like, there's kind of like a trilogy, sort of, right? Like The Untouchables is like must see. Tombstone, right?
Yeah,
it's right there in there with that like mid-90s sort of. You gotta watch it.
Yeah. But what's the third one though? I don't understand.
Robin Hood.
No, not Robin Hood.
Bull Durham was good. You gotta say Bull Durham was.
Yeah, but where I think, and it's funny you say that, Brian, because I put Tombstone and Untouchables in the same category of. Almost like fan fiction history, to where it's based on history, but there's a lot of things that probably are not historically accurate.
Untouchables is nowhere near what happened.
Right, but it's still a good movie. You know, it doesn't take it away from the movie. You know,
kind of like Young Guns.
Kind of like Young Guns. Yeah, it doesn't take away from Young Guns 2. Never.
And A Blaze of Glory.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, that's my review. If you haven't checked it out, Yellowstone, check it out.
All right, that sounds promising.
Good show.
No, Brad. I saw on the rundown that you got a little scared this last week.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and head on over to Fear Street.
Shadyside, a history of horror has earned it the nickname Killer Capital USA.
What's happening to us?
These massacres happen in Shadyside.
Yeah, so I got curious. I kind of mostly watched all 3 of the Fear Street movies. That's why I've been busy. No Time for Masters of the Universe on Netflix. Alex, have you watched any of them?
Masturbating.
No, I what the fuck? That was the weirdest.
That was a strange transition.
I'm so uncomfortable. No, I've heard like a lot of girls I know watch these movies.
Yeah, me and a lot of girls watch the movies. Yeah, that's cool. I like to put my arm around them when they get scared, Alex.
I haven't watched them. They look like really stupid. Like,
well, if you didn't know that they were written by R.L. Stine, you would say this is an R.L. Stine movie, isn't it? I mean, it's so like I've seen the Goosebump movies with my kid. And this plays out just like a Goosebumps movie, except for there's a lot more blood and sex and drugs in it. But other than that, it's a Goosebumps.
I will say I've been listening to R.L. Stine teach me how to write on
Masterclass.
Masterclass.
Excellent.
And he looks like a giant toad, but
yeah.
But he's an interesting guy. I mean, he knows his shit.
Oh, there you go. Well, maybe you'll enjoy some of his writing stylings. No, the reason that I wanted to watch it, because I love a good horror movie, which this not necessarily was, but they have it at 3 different times in the first one takes place in the 90s or the 80s, and then it goes back into the 1600s.
Are they connected, Brad?
They're all connected. It's basically Scream meets It meets Stranger Things, maybe. Okay. So I think it has elements of all of those. It's okay. None of it necessarily makes sense, and for the most part, you don't know anybody that's in it other than the redheaded chick playing a redheaded chick in Stranger Things. Whoever that girl was, she's in this.
Yeah, Max.
But yeah, so again, if you've got 6 hours to waste while instead of being in meetings or something like that, and you want to have it going on in the background and you can mute it and just kind of watch it and follow along, I would say go ahead and do that with these trilogy of movies. I did read that I think Netflix was trying to start a horror MCU, a horror universe type stuff. I don't think this is it, but maybe it is. But I thought that might be kind of a fun thing to do if you kind of establish some characters like Jason and Michael Myers and all of these types and Freddy and had them all in the same universe or something like that. Like, okay, yeah, again, it would be completely 80s slasher stupid type stuff. But yeah, I'd sign up for that. So anyway, Fear Street, have it on in the background and just watch it for the kills. A couple of good kills, but that's about it.
I've been wanting to watch it. I've seen it advertised, and
they push it on you.
Yeah, it's all over Netflix.
But like I said earlier, I've been wanting to, a reason to keep my Netflix a little bit longer because there's nothing else. I've been just kind of waiting for Cobra Kai to come on, but so I'll give Fear Street a chance. And
Voltron.
And Voltron.
Yeah, I'll give it a chance. I'll watch Voltron.
All right.
So,
well, there you go. That's it for me. Alex, anything else with you?
I did have a What You Looking At. I just forgot to add to the rundowns. I watched Hacks on HBO Max.
How was that?
Well, it's pretty. I'd say it's actually really good. It's basically about a kind of like a washed out comedian whose material's a little stale, who comes into contact based off their same agent with a writer, like a young and upcoming writer who got fired for an offensive tweet. And it's just basically the hijinks of these polar opposite characters who you come to learn are more similar than they'd like to be. And, all that. It's a cute story, but there's really good performances in it.
Everybody loves Gene Smart.
Yeah, there's some. It's really strong in the performance category, and every episode, you care about these characters more and more, and it's more fascinating because their flaws also become more and more evident with the characters. It's not like they go on this massive redemption path; they suck a lot of the time. Like they're just kind of shitty people to both of them. But it's nice to see two shitty people find some reconciliation in the aims of each other. It's a really smart show, just with really fun and good characters. It's like you'd think it's like a cringy woke show, and like after the first episode, but really they use that to their strength in the same way of like I'd say like El Camino uses that kind of off the grid kind of humor that sort of offensive humor to its strength. It's really good. I would definitely check it out. It's one of the better things I've seen that are new on HBO Max.
Is it a TV show?
Yeah, it's a TV show. It's like 8 episodes or 10 episodes. And I binged it all in one night.
No, what's it about?
Really
I'm
good.
sorry.
Come on.
It's an old comedian and a young PR person or some writer.
She's a writer
who tries to get her career back on track, and they have zany adventures, and they learn they're not so different. Is that okay?
But
Alex?
that's a pretty bare bones. But it's a good show. I think it may have gotten nominated for some Emmys.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure. But
they're not
really
beating Don Cheadle out.
Nope. But yeah, I definitely say give it a shot because I really enjoyed it. And I binged it in one night because I thought it was so good. So
I'll have to watch it.
I give it a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow, I can't believe you almost forgot about that. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, 5 out of 5. Watch it.
All right. Well, very good. What do we got coming up here? We got a lot of stuff. I mean, Suicide Squad's right around the corner.
It's right around the corner. I have what you're looking at, too. I put it on the rundown. That's quick, though. DC has started launching all those new titles. All that stuff that was kind of teased in first quarter when we weren't getting a universe reboot and all that kind of stuff. It's all started to hit now. So this week we had Blue and Gold, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle hit. You had the Shazam miniseries and Superman and the Authority hit. Plus Justice League had a big but Justice League and Nightwing have both had a big twist in the same month. That's the exact same twist. So I've been reading the DC Universe stuff. Essentially, Superman and the Authority. None of the Authority appear. It's all Superman and Manchester Black. It's only 4 issues. So considering it's called Superman and the Authority and none of the Authority appear, okay.
They better hurry up and get there.
But it's Grant Morrison, too. So Grant Morrison, you got to remember, he just came off a 3-year run of Green Lantern. And when he sat with Didio, he said, I don't want to write a book. I don't want to write the book. He goes, but they should do this, and they should do that, and they should do this. And then Didio said by the end of the conversation, he was writing the book. He had written the first 8 issues. So, so he went on, he wrote 12 issues of Green Lantern, then 12 issues of Dark Stars, and then another 12 issues of Green Lantern. So, the fact that Superman and the Authority is only 4 issues is probably not that big a deal. It's probably just they don't want to put it on a regular monthly calendar. But yeah, first issue focuses on Manchester Black, which is a character that I love, and Superman. Shazam, the new Shazam book is out. It focuses on. What's interesting there is Billy is in the Teen Titans. He's in that Titans book. And so it's very X-Men-esque, right? So he's there. He's in the stuff that's happening in the Teen Titans book. He's still a part of. It's kind of happening in the background. Those characters are in his book. It's not just Billy and Mary and all that stuff. And then Booster Gold and Blue Beetle are back. Very good book, written and drawn by Dan Jurgens. No, it's written by Dan Jurgens, drawn by Ryan Sook, who's a great artist. And then there's Justice League and Nightwing. Nightwing's been fantastic. We were introduced to what's her name? Melinda Zuko, who's Tony Zuko's daughter, and she's taken over. She's now the mayor of Bloodhaven. She uses Blockbuster, kills somebody, and appoints her the new mayor. She's hooked into the mafia, and it's Tony Zuko's daughter. Who Tony Zuko is the one that killed, Nightwing's parents.
Oh.
Well, last month you realize, Nightwing goes to confront her, and then you find out that she's actually
he loves her.
No,
his sister.
His sister.
Oh
what?
My God! Really?
His sister.
Oh my
So,
God! It's a dad bang our mom or something.
Yeah. Don't knock.
Are
it.
you
It's
serious? Is
great.
that why he got killed?
Yes.
Oh shit!
It's a good book, though.
It's Tom Taylor. It's a good book, but essentially what happens is
it's really good.
What happens is Zuko had this like mail order bride, and she was trying to get away from him, and they went to the circus and she escaped, and
Big Grayson's dad boned her.
Well, eventually, yeah. John Grayson basically they helped her hide, but it's before John Grayson married. What's she married?
Martha Grayson.
Yeah, is it Martha Grayson? Yes. So how many Marthas you got to have in the DC universe? So before they got together, they were both aerialists, but they weren't together. And she ran away with them to the circus, and they hooked up. And then Zuko came back around, and she fled again. And then John Grayson and Martha Grayson got together and had dick. So what's wild about this is
there was some dick to be had.
Yeah, she's Nightwing's older sister, which is interesting. But that's not like the dynamic you get out of the book. Is that she's got to be like a couple of years older than Nightwing. But so that's the twist in Nightwing that's going on. The twist in Justice League. Now that you'd think editorial would say, hey, Brian Michael Bendis, Tom Taylor's doing the same thing. So that was last month in Nightwing. This month in Justice League, the story's been revolving around Checkmate and like some global threats to Justice League, but it's going to end up being the whole Checkmate thing and Leviathan and Manhunter running Leviathan. But essentially, Black Canary and Green Arrow run into this agent of Checkmate, who is Lois Lane's brother.
Wow, so a lot of boning going on in the DC universe.
Wait, you cut out? Who is it?
You find out that Lois Lane has a brother that they've never introduced before. So then you've got Nightwing's sister and Lois Lane's brother, and I'm like, can y'all not have spread this out a bit?
Good Lord.
But yeah, so Lois Lane has a brother, and he's an agent of Checkmate. And they haven't. I mean, it's Sam Lane's son. You don't know if it's Sam Lane with Lois's mother or something he did out of wedlock. You don't know, but yeah. So essentially, I feel like this character is they're going back to when Dick Grayson was like the agent of Spiral, and they kind of did that. I get the feeling like that's what this is trying to be, because he looks just like Nightwing. So, but yeah, that's what's going on in DC.
Well, it sounds like a lot, man.
Oh, and the biggest news of all, in Flash, Wally West is now the central Flash in the Flash comic book and in the Flash universe.
That's what Alex was telling me about that.
Yep, he's back, baby, in the golden red.
Yep, golden red. The full cowl.
That book is amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah, full cowl. Linda's there. The kids are there. It's full on. Wally West is the Flash, and Barry's in the background.
Well, who was it? I mean, me and Alex was talking about this, and I don't know who it was that told me, but it's like someone had said that people that are writing the books now were the people that were growing up during the time of the Wally West time. So yeah, that's why Wally West is back. Kind of like the only reason Barry Allen returned is because the people who grew up during the Barry Allen stuff was starting to write the books now. So,
well, and Connor Hawke appeared is now in the Robin book that's out.
That's what I heard. I always liked Connor Hawke. He was a pussy, but I thought he was kind of a interesting character, though. I mean, he was, I thought he was a cool character.
And then and what I'm hoping, crossing my fingers for, is that we get Kyle Rayner Green Lantern.
Yeah, I would like that too. I wish we would go back to the 90s stuff where everybody you had these legacy characters and you had them carry on the mantle, and you had the other characters just take a step back. You could still have them. They could still be mentors. They could still be, supporting characters in the book or have their own book.
And that's what's happening with apparently Barry's going to be in the Infinite Frontier book.
Yeah.
And so he'll be a supporting character in The Flash. With
I
Wally being
realize
the primary
Barry is
Flash.
still a boring character. I mean, Barry has never been an interesting character, and Wally was a much more interesting character. So
there you have it.
All right,
voila.
Brian, y'all want to? I've seen Brian's been updating our Instagram. Do you want to advertise our Instagram a little bit?
Yeah.
Maybe our email address for any comments. You want to give out that information also?
Our email address. We also have a Yelp.
We do have an email address, Brian. What is it?
Just check us out on MySpace. It's the Podman on Instagram.
Well, that's Instagram. Don't we got an email address?
The Podman at Gmail.
The Podman at Gmail.
We make it easy for you.
Yeah,
we
it's
do.
all the Podman, all one word.
The Podman. Is that the Instagram account too?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How do you get it out
You
there?
got to say everything twice to lock it in with PMR.
You do.
Just to make sure.
Got to lock it in, man. And our MySpace page, what's that?
That's the Podman at MySpace.
Podman at MySpace. All right. And Google Teams. Do we got a Google Teams page?
Yep, you can join the fun on Google Teams. Just dial us up on the Podman at Google Teams.
How many times are we going to repeat this joke?
Did we ever do the Google Circle?
What's that?
Circle? The Google Circle? Wasn't that?
We never did the Google Circle jerk, I don't think.
That was a platform that never just took off, did it?
I don't think it did.
No.
Neither did Google Plus. It's okay.
Yeah.
Google's tried.
They've tried. Google, Googled everything. All right. Well, very good. Yes. Brian has been working as a social media director, posting all kinds of great comments. Maybe you can post some He-Man and Snake Eye scores and stuff like that on there, Brian. And, you've drummed up a lot of new followers. We just got to convert them to listeners is all.
That's all. Yeah, we went from, we've almost, we've gone up 60% in listeners.
All right.
Nice. We'll take that.
All right. Yeah. So, and if a 2-hour episode about G.I. Joe and Masters of the Universe doesn't do it for them, I don't know what we can do next.
Well, we're getting the Bosch people in.
Yeah, we are totally drafting.
We're getting the Bosch fandom in, and that's huge.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get off of here and write some Bosch fan fiction here in a little bit.
I can't wait to sink my teeth into a little bit of Bosch.
Bosch, somebody walks up and knocks his teeth out, walks away.
Anything with Bosch.
All right, well,
Bosch fan fiction.
All right, so next week, what do we have, Brian? We've got to watch our movie, Underwater, or whatever it's called, on HBO Max.
Oh, it's not there. I just looked.
Oh, it isn't?
It is not.
Fucking spin that wheel.
All right, let's spin that wheel again. Thanks for mentioning that. It's good to know. Ooh, all right. Well, this is a good one on Amazon Prime. I believe this was your choice, Brian. And you know what? I ain't going to get mad about Aunt May being a stripper. That's right, folks. We're going to take this one down to the mat. We're going to go wrestling. The Wrestler on Amazon Prime.
All right, I'm down.
Is that the one where the person gets her neck broke at the end?
Yep.
Thanks for the spoiler.
Yeah, don't worry about the spoiler.
No, it's $1 Million Baby, Alex. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Oh, well, thanks for that spoiler, too.
That's true, yeah.
All right, so wrestling. We're all about wrestling next week. Do we have any new TV shows or movies next week? Or are we just waiting for Suicide Squad the week after, right?
You got Thursday, Transformers Kingdom launches on Netflix.
Yeah.
So,
well, you two can watch that one. Brian and Alex will watch that.
I'm just 80s cartoon now.
Yeah. I'll be watching more Bosch because the gang will be with me. So
okay,
I'll have some more Bosch update. So
thank God.
All right. Well,
I missed it this week.
The Bosch.
in a couple of weeks, I got a new show I'm going to be watching with Gangy, but I'm not going to say what it is yet. I don't want anybody to spoil it.
No, definitely not. All right. I've got a new show that I'll finish everything on Amazon, I think. So,
and I'm gonna watch that movie Brad keeps telling me to watch.
Yeah, adaptation. And Alex, after you finish that, you got to really focus. Though I want you to try to dig into Schenectady, New York. After that, written as Charlie Kaufman as well. This one's a little bit more divisive, though. It gets out there, but it's all about the creative process and writing and stuff like that.
What about Being John Malkovich? Have you watched that, Alex?
Oh yeah, I've seen Being John Malkovich. That's like on my top 10. I love that book.
Yeah.
Movie.
All right, we need you to do a retrospective after all of this is over with, Alex.
I would love, Alex, for you to watch LA Confidential.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie.
All right, I think we're almost losing Alex there. Lost the signal. All right, well, more Bosch, more surprises, but until next time, Brian.
Save it for the podcast.